it's the last full day of campaigning before Election Day, and the presidential candidates are making a final pitch to voters. Polls show a neck-and-neck race. Former President Donald Trump visiting 3 battleground states today: North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Vice President Kamala Harris is concentrating on one, Pennsylvania, the battleground state with the most electoral college votes at stake.
If we get everybody out and vote, there's not a thing they can do.
What you all are signing up to do today and what you've been doing, let's enjoy it, because it's the best of who we are as a democracy.
More than 78 million Americans have voted early this election. That's nearly half of the 2020 total vote.
And our in-depth coverage continues now with analysis from 12 News Politics editor Ted Nesi. And Ted, I'm going to start with a real simple question for you. Who's going to win?
Great question, Kim. I do know, but I can't tell you, unfortunately.
Okay, that's how
we'll keep it close to the vest for now. We have gotten used to these close presidential races, Kim and Kayla. We have to remember, every election but one this century, the popular vote was very close. I just looked this morning. Nate Silver, who's one of the election prognosticators I really trust, he had it as a 50-50 toss-up, a coin flip, basically. And usually by this time, we feel like someone has a little bit of an edge, even if it's still close. We can't even really say that yet. And that's why you see these two fanning out to the swing states. Kamala Harris beating the band in Pennsylvania all day long, hoping they can find those last votes, because it could come down to a few tens of thousands.
Wow. And Ted, one of the interesting developments in the last 48 hours was the release of a new poll out of Iowa, which is not categorized as a swing state, but it came as quite a shock to political observers.
It did. It was startling. Kim can attest. I kept talking about it on Saturday night when the numbers came out. I was so surprised. This is the highly regarded poll by Ann Selzer for the Des Moines Register. She does it the weekend before every year, the election, that we have one. And you see there the numbers on the screen. Harris at 47% in Iowa, Trump at 44%. And as we said, this was not supposed to be a competitive state. So you'd expect perhaps it would be single digits, but you certainly wouldn't expect such a highly regarded poll to be finding Vice President Harris at 47%. The poll could be wrong, but the Harris people were certainly very happy to see that. And this is a pollster with a very good track record. We also saw over the weekend a poll showing a relatively close race in Kansas. Again, a state that is not expected to be close, should be safe for Donald Trump. So the question a lot of people have is whether the abortion issue and the blowback to that, especially in places that have put these more restrictive rules in place, might be giving Harris a lift that we might not be seeing. We don't know that, but it's certainly very interesting as we digest these numbers.
And as you mentioned, Ted, of course, the Selzer poll is giving Harris supporters a little bit of a lift in these final hours. What is the Trump camp saying?
Well, look, if you're Donald Trump's campaign or his supporters, first of all, you scoff at the Iowa poll, say Selzer finally got it wrong out there at the Des Moines Register, and you say, we've seen this before. He shocked the world in 2016, won that election. Donald Trump outperformed the polls in 2020. He did better, even though he lost that election. You have a president, Biden, Democratic president, very unpopular, 30-something% approval rating. His vice president is the Democratic nominee. She went too far left in 2019, and that's still dogging her when she ran for president. And he only needs a few states to go his way to win this. So, there are plenty of reasons for the Trump campaign to stay optimistic. And again, I just can't stress enough, this is a coin flip right now based on all the data we have.
All right, and Ted will be back at 5 with some local poll results for our key local races. 12 News Politics editor Ted Nesi, thanks for being here.
Good to be here.